All right, guys, we are back with another episode of Chasing 80s, and this time on Toy Tuesday, we are taking another look at the G.I Joe Classified Retro Cardback line. Up for you, we have Duke, Scarlet, and Recondo. These three figures look amazing. I really enjoy these toys, and they bring back so much nostalgia. So let's stop talking about it. Let's get into it. Let's open these up and take a closer look at those figures, shall we? All right, here we are again, jumping into G.I. Joe Classified Retro with Recondo. With that classic Outback look on these beautiful retro inspired cards, a throwback to those vintage 3 3/4 scale Joes. Look at that figure and all those accessories. Here is the back and that file card for those who want an opportunity to read it. Go ahead and pause now and get your look. And in this new line, of course, we have Recondo, we have Scarlet, and the classic Duke. Let's get this thing open, shall we? Alrighty, here we go. Look at that mustache, man. What a brilliant sculpt. That handlebar, got the mullet or slick back hair going. Detail on this figure is great with the patches. Got some camo. Of course, I love that they mold all these accessories separate from the figure. Really adds to the realism. The boots. Looks like we got reverse buckles, so that's why there's no... And they're two-tone, which is really nice to see that added detail of the two-tone boots and the buckle straps. Really cool looking figures. And of course, with all of these 6-inch classified retro series, they do all come with this figure stand. So let's get Recondo in place. Boy, and those go on a lot easier than the past figures. So some improvement there. Let's see if we can get you a closer look as we get into the accessories. So first up, you can't have a Recondo without that hat. And then you're not going to be venturing out into the wilderness without your backpack, complete with your, your bed wrap. And you got to slash your way through that underbrush. So let's get his machete in there. Let me get this in. Looks like it goes right down in there like that. We also have our handgun, which goes right in that vest holster, which is nice. I think that's the first one of this line with that vest holder, which is really cool. And lastly, it looks like we have... I'm probably going to guess the wrong gun here, but it looks like an M4 with the extended stock. Of course, the suppressor and that retractable stop or butt on there. So it's get him armed and ready. All right, let's take a closer look at this figure from all directions, shall we? The thing I really like about these figures the most is not just the detailed sculpts. I mean, look at that watch with the leather band and silver watch casement, but it's all the points of articulation. You've got the head ball joint, a neck ball joint, so that head and neck swivel. You've got the double hinged elbows, the double hinged knees. You've got the ankle hinges, so you can move left, right, side to side. You also have the rib cage, so you can move him there. Of course, they are O-ring figures, so you have the pivotal at the hips. And then, of course, you have rotation at the hamstrings and at the shoulders where you can lift. So you can really pose these in so many different directions. And looks like our backpack isn't on straight, so let's give that a little fix. And so these things are just so detailed. The things the 6-inch figures will let them do. This is almost, to me, the perfect size for action figures because it keeps the price down, so you're not looking at like these 12-inch figures where you're incorporating all the soft goods and have to be much more detailed, driving the price up to $150, $250. They're small enough that you can have some vehicles, again, price down, and still get heavy detail, heavy posability. I just think the 6-inch Joe line is honestly, the Classified Retro Series is perfection. It's about as good as you're going to get in that G.I. Joe line and still keep these figures affordable so that you can collect the complete line or at least all of your favorites. All right, next up is, of course, Scarlet. And she's got that classic crossbow in there, which will be really cool to get a hold of. Her hair with the ponytail extension, just looking at those. Some of those accessories. And again, that great art, the great packaging on this thing is just phenomenal. And one of the things I really like about these is how they attach the bubble. So you have this double card, essentially. It's one long card that they fold over. And so the bubble is on the inside of the card, which means there's no risk if you're going to keep these sealed of the bubble peeling off. But at the same time, they give you this external flap that's just taped down. I don't know if you can see that there very well. And the great thing about this is you can just cut there, and then you can literally just pull the figure out and keep the bubble in place. Some people will cut along here. I've showed these in other videos. You cut along these lines and it gives you that hinge to make it easier to pull out. But it's really great because you can then keep these card backs in pristine condition and put your figures back in if you later want to display them in the package as opposed to out on a shelf or something. So again, here is the file card on the back. Go ahead and take a pause if you want to read any of that. And then we will go ahead and get this thing open. Okay, so wow, this figure has an absolutely mountain of accessories. So let's start. Of course, we have the belt with that quiver. We have the side holster for a knife. And you can see that sculpt. That's a pretty good sculpt on the face. Looks like a real person. Or, it doesn't look cartoony at all, I should say. Good paint on the eyes. Of course, got the little earrings. And again, here's that ball joint, so you can move that head. The neck on this one, while it does move a little bit, you can see slightly lean forward, slightly lean back. Not a ton of movement. You've got the hinging here, which isn't as hinged. I can feel some of the movement in there, but not much. It's not going to bend over too much. Lean back, but puff out that chest. But again, it's nice double hinged on a female character because some of the female ones don't have that. We've got the rotation in the shoulders. Got the hip rotation. Does the leg should there? Yeah, leg rotation as well. How we got legs? Do the boots? Yep, boots turn just like the other figures. So that's good because not all the female characters had that. So pretty good. And I think because they save all the plastic on these female figures, They really go hog wild on the accessories, and man, did they go hog wild on these accessories. So let's get her in there, get her standing straight. Here we go. So let's take a look. First, we have the backpack. Nice thing about this backpack, of course, it is very well textured, which adds to the realism. It's also got a couple mounts there for her guns, because Lord knows this thing came with a ton of weapons. One of the other things we'll dive into real quick is she came with alternate hands. These are just fists. So if you want to make her a female boxer, I guess you can do that. So I'll just throw those down. We've got 4 of these quivers. So let's just, what do you think those go in there? Like that. Hopefully you'd think you'd go down in there arrowhead first. Yeah. So, you don't want to stab yourself getting another bolt out for your crossbow. And I do notice this one is got 4 prongs as opposed to the other ones, which all have 2. So this one's likely the one you would put in your actual crossbow. Maybe not. Is that even a... Oh, maybe that's like an explosive tip or something. Interesting. Because that's the back end. So this is a 4-prong tip. Well, that's only going in there that way. So. Of course, you have the crossbow itself. And in taking this out, I did notice it comes in 2 pieces. So if you want it just as a bolt gun, you can do that. Or if you want it as a full crossbow, you just put that in there. And so let's give her iconic crossbow weapon. And because I don't like the way this one is sitting in there, let's... get the bolt on. Put that bolt in the chamber. Of course, stand up, bit leaning back or forward. So we also have 2 ponytails. So not sure the purpose other than to, I guess, be able to put in different directions of hair. This one should fit over the backpack better, so let's go that direction. Take that pack off to get her. So there, we've got her. Again, why won't you stand up straight? Of course, we've got a handgun. Do we have a place for a handgun? I do not see one. So, no holster. So then you've got the knife, of course. So let's put that in there. Interesting that the handgun has no real place to go. We also have this weapon. which we of course can put on the backpack. We also have her M4, M16, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it certainly looks like an M16 barrel with that long barrel, probably because of the classified aspect. Well, how are you going to get on there? There you go. So given that there's no real place to also holster this gun, I guess we're just going to have her double fisting it, crossbow and handgun. Don't know how she's going to reload her crossbow, but there you go. Let's have her, see if we can pose this in a way where she's just kind of hanging out with that bow. Get that gun where it needs to be so it looks right. There we go. She is fully loaded. So let's get a look at her in all the angles. All right, there you go. Fully locked and loaded. I think she's definitely the most armored up G.I. Joe figure to date. Take that for what it is. But man, she looks great in this. Really cool figure with all of those accessories. Very cool. So let's take a look at our last and final figure, shall we? Alrighty, last but definitely not least is Duke. Again, classic pose. Got that original looking helmet in there from that old school figure. Lots of accessories I can see in the box. There is that file card for those who want to take a look. Let me stabilize that a bit. There you go. Go ahead and give that a pause and give that a read if you want. And let's get into Duke, our first sergeant. Alrighty, here we go. We've got Duke free from his plastic cage. And, man, look at that clean cut. Look, not quite, looks awfully young. Not quite the Duke I pictured, as young looking as he is. Duke to me always seemed like the staunch leader. And of course, there you can see the articulation. We've already looked at a few of these. You got the American flag on there, actually stenciled the right way. Got the boots molded in there. Again, another unique sculpt. I just love that they're doing that, not really repeating. Because a lot of figures tend to use just the same exact sculpt for different parts. I mean, Lord knows Kenner and Hasbro are notorious for that, but these are getting these unique sculpts. Now, I think they are identical sculpts to the mainline classified figures, but of course the uniqueness here is that they're in that retro paint style. I'm not a collector of the regular classified line. That to me, there's nothing nostalgic about that. Trigger finger looks a little mangled on that hand over there. You can see that it's at a weird angle. So let's get him on the included figure stand as soon as we get that figure stand facing the right direction. And take a look at these accessories. First up, backpack. I like this one. It's got the included shovel. In case Duke wants to take a poop, he can dig a hole. Got the text on there. I don't know if we can get that to come in so you can read that G.I. Joe and what other words are under there. And we'll get that on his back. So this is a bit frustrating. You can kind of see the peg holes there because he's got no shoulder pads or anything. Of course, here's that old school helmet that original figure came with. Let's see if we can get that on him. Yep. Looks kind of goofy with it on, but there you go. We have, of course, the knife that seems to be fairly standard with these figures, so let's get that in there. Apparently G.I. Joe does a lot of stabbing. There's our handgun. And so Duke does come with a couple fists. So that is quite interesting. In case you want to get him in a fight with Scarlet, I guess. We have this big ass gun. Is there a way to put it anywhere? There's not. So unlike Scarlet, there's no clips to store this. So that's interesting. We also have this gun, which seems to be twisted a bit. Get that down there so the brace goes where it goes on the forearm there. And let's give him the other gun in that mangled hand. Let's see, can we get that mangled finger up in there? There we go. All right, got those stiff joints. There he is. He's going ham, shooting everybody. Hope he doesn't have to reload, because he's going to be in trouble if he does. No other armor, just a helmet. So no other body armor. So I don't know if Duke is too smart when it comes to busting in and going ham on Cobra, but there you go. And we do have this last accessory, a pair of binocs. So there you go. And those do not hang well, so let's just leave them like that. All right. Let's get a closer look at this thing, shall we? There he is in all his door-kicking, blasting away glory. So I really have enjoyed opening these toys up with you guys. This is a great line, a lot of fun. I appreciate you joining us for these videos to get a look at all these retro nostalgic toys, whether they're vintage or these new retro inspired versions. Just brings back a lot of memories, and can't thank you enough for being here. So let's get one last look at all three of the figures in this line, or this wave of these G.I. Joe classified retros. All right, there we go. We got Recondo, we have Scarlet, we have Duke. The team is together and ready to go fight Cobra wherever the battle takes them. And now you know, of course, and knowing is half the battle. All right, guys, there you have it. We took a look at Duke, Scarlet, and Recondo. These figures from the classified retro cardback G.I. Joe line are great.
And if you combine these with all the other classified retro cardback figures we've shown, we now have 7 Cobra, we have 7 G.I. Joe, and the collection is starting to bloom. Can't wait for the release of the next line coming up. We have great figures like Cobra Commander. Can't wait to see those come out. And as always, if you've enjoyed this video, smash the like button. And for more videos like these, hit subscribe, ring the bell for notification. And until next time, have fun.